Hey guys, how's it going? It is I, the real Randy Chavez, coming at you today with a Veve Omi update video. Guys, if you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I love y'all. Everyone say hello to Dashi. Hello, Dashi. Commenting, like, subscribing is a free way to help support the channel. Non-free ways are Patreon and smashing that super thanks button down below. And also, wraithx.dth domain name, and this is not brown natural advice, and become a member. So normally I'll go over Earth 2 first, but I do want to go over crypto stuff at large, which obviously does have a lot to do with Essence and Omi, and then I will go from there along with I'll talk about Veve a bit afterwards. So I was on a stream yesterday with Hello K, and then it was on Danny the Bull's channel, and towards the end of the stream, and we had Dr. Stuff and we had Crypto Rain on there, but we were talking about just the general health of the market. And Hello K, along with God's Entry will be on the podcast on Thursday to go over his points. But they were talking about how they think this is just a dead cat bounce. This is just a rally that happens to be in the bear market, and they very much believe we are in the bear market still, and Bitcoin will go back down to like 12K, Max Payne. And I just wanted to let you guys know that because I'm not in that camp. And again, go watch Hello K's points on that yesterday. Go to Danny the Bull's channel. Again, God's Entry will be on Thursday for the podcast. But there's a couple of reasons why I happen to think that we are in the bull market. And I've mentioned this before, but I just didn't say it yet. But if you look at the Bitcoin stock to flow models, like the Bitcoin price, the stock to flow model, you can take a look at the fact that, oh, okay, there's a pattern there. And the pattern shows that we are on the uptick. Same thing with the Bitcoin Relative Strength Index, also known as the RSI. When you get to a certain amount of months before halving, then you tend to go up a little bit, and that's where we are right now. We've had a little bit of an uptick in this 2023 area, and then if you take a look at the percentage of Bitcoin that's in profit, that's right there in the circulating supply. Up until I think a couple of weeks or even a month ago, it was only about 50% of the particular of the amounts of Bitcoin in circulation that was in profit, and since then it has upticked to over 60%, almost 70% now. Just another chart that shows that we could potentially be at the beginnings of the next bull market. If you take a look at the Bitcoin price, the realized price, the 2-year realized and the 5-year realized, it also indicates that we are currently in the beginnings of the next bull market. The Bitcoin realized return, same thing. When you take a couple of data points, showed that the returns of the miners were negative for a while. Like it cost more to mine the Bitcoin than the Bitcoin was actually selling for, and now you're in profit. And then you also take a look at the Bitcoin versus the S&P 500, and you can see that, oh hey, we're about to go up again. Again, this is obviously not financial advice. This is just my interpretation of some of these charts, why we could potentially be in the starts of the new bull market. That being said, I wanted to go and discuss some of these with Arya Realty over from Earth 2, and he had mentioned that he's been buying a bunch of other stuff. He has Bitcoin, he has Ethereum, he has Matic. I think most of the reason he has Matic is because Earth 2 partnered with Polygon Matic, and he was saying, hey, what do you think about the price of Essence and where it could go? Do you see $10? And I was telling him, I was like, okay, well, I think it can go to $10. It depends on the circulating supply, though. In Earth 2's Essence, you have a max supply of 5 billion. Which is fine. I think Essence could still be worth a couple of dollars, even if all of that was suddenly in the circulating supply, but it's not. Figure at the time of launch, we might have 1 billion in circulating supply, which right now it's only it's like 200 million. So it is doubtful that we do even have 1 billion in circulating supply by that time, but let's just, to be conservative. $10 is a $10 billion market cap. And that'd bring us around where Mana and Sand were the last bull run. And if you look at the Telegram groups, if you look at the active users, there are so many more active users on Earth 2 than there are on at least Decentraland. Sandbox, I'm not sure of, but I think we should surpass that fairly easily. And that was at the height of the bull run. I think I could picture Essence market cap being well over 10 billion, maybe even 15 or 20. But let's say it just goes up to 10 billion. That's a $10 Essence. And if you have only 500 million Essence in circulating supply, which is very possible, that would be a $20 Essence. So do the math. Do the math on what you have. How much Essence do you have? Multiply it by 20, and that's potentially some of the returns that you could get. And that does make some poetic sense too, because when you look at a lot of ICOs, when you look at a lot of initial coin offerings, and people are putting 15, 25 grand in, if they're successful, it's usually worth 100x a few years later. And that would go fairly in line with what people have done over in Earth 2, I think. So that's what I have to say about Earth 2 and the Essence price prediction. OMI, it's pretty flat on the day. We're up about 0.1% over the last 24 hours. We have outperformed pretty much everything in the top 10 except for, I think, Polygon. Polygon's up about 1%. And outside of that, but again, it's a relatively flat day for crypto. It's a relatively flat day for the markets. We did outperform the Dow and the S&P 500. The Nasdaq is outperforming OMI, so it's not too crazy of a day, so I wouldn't really read too much into that. We did have over $900,000 in volume, so I thought that was pretty legit as well. Moving on to some Veve news, we have the most actions in the game known as Tengoku Senso, the game that we are building. I don't know if it's specifically going to be in the Veveverse, but it is a game that does include OMI. It is a game that you can be able to burn OMI. I'm not sure about earning, though. I know we will have those in the future. But their Twitter page says most actions in the game can now be previewed in the skill list menu, allowing players to see the action before deciding whether or not they want to acquire it. So if you are playing that game, you do have some updates. Speaking of updates, Veve did just tweet saying, update, back-end maintenance and upgrades have been completed and payout is now live again on the web app. Thank you for your patience while we made these necessary improvements. Comment down below if you are going to do some cashing out. Comment down below if you're going to continue to hodl everything. And let us know how you feel about MCP. Anyway, Medfarber had retweeted a investing quote of the day. Some people get rich studying artificial intelligence. Me, I make my money studying natural stupidity. I thought that was pretty interesting. Dr. Profit retweeted that as well, where there's two ways to go about it. You can do your own research and follow intelligent people, or you could follow people that are always wrong and do the opposite of what they do. Tim Kramer. Moving on. Frank Sabaka had mentioned yesterday in the live stream, I don't think the conventions is an effective marketing strategy. Most physical comic collectors hate NFTs and crypto, and many Veve users weren't collectors before Veve. So I do have to kind of push back on that. I will agree that, yeah, if you were to go to Comic-Con 2 years ago, and, 2021, late 2020, whatever, comic book collectors would, turn up their nose at you. You mentioned NFT comic books, ugh. Were they threatened? I think for the most part they were just threatened. That's how people act when their way of life is about to be disrupted. That being said, when I went last year, San Diego Comic-Con and New York Comic-Con, it was very different. That experience for me was quite different. Where you had people like, I've heard of it, not my thing, not really into it. So there seems to be a very big shift, especially when it comes to older people versus younger people. The older people still kind of, they don't understand it. It's like older people with technology. They just they just decide that they're just never going to learn it. And it's like, okay, not that hard. But anyway, the younger people seem to be a little more open to it. It's still not their thing. Cool. They might come around eventually, whether it's for investing, whether for whatever. But I will agree with Frank Sabaka on that the conventions for comic book collectors aren't necessarily a great marketing tool. But for anyone that has been to Comic-Con before, how many people are there solely for comics? Yeah, maybe a couple hundred or, 1,000, a couple thousand, but there are tens of thousands of people that go there. So that is a relatively small percentage. And again, we're not in the comic book stand. We are in the Marvel stand, which obviously has a lot more than just that. There's a lot of cosplay. There's a lot of people that love and going and do collecting stuff as well, whether it's ticket stubs from movies, whether it's old school DVDs and Blu-rays that are sealed or unsealed. Many people are collectors, and to Frank Sabaka's credit here, yeah, there's a lot of people that weren't collectors or were not comic book collectors before Veve, and now I know a bunch of them that have bought a bunch of Grail comics, granted in lower grades, but they bought them to match their collectibles. I thought that was really interesting. Speaking of collectibles, I bought another sub 100 Lady Deadpool. Why? Because I have no control of my life and I'm addicted and I'm a slave. And it's just, I calculated it yesterday. Out of all the Marvel Mighties, I have 1.5% of the sub 100s. Is that going to mean anything in the Master Collectors program? Probably not. I just, wanted to point that out there. Felt good. We have a market update from Rootless Girl saying market pulse for the week of January 30th to yesterday. Active wallets were up to about 21,000 active wallets, up about 8%. The trades were down about 6% to 44,000. The amount of buyers went down about 1% to 8,000, and the amount of sellers also went down 7% to 10,000.6. The tokens minted were up about 49%. There's about 35,000 tokens minted. And the amount of minters were up 21%, meaning people actually minting from the store at 17,000. And there was 343 merged accounts, and the tokens transferred via merge were 9,110. Comment down below, it's over 9,000, if you get that reference. Moving on, when you take a look at the crypto pay-in that's in, it does have, it has Bitcoin, has Ethereum, which is great, and then it has a bunch of ERC20 coins, like USDT Tether from ERC20, USDC coin, or USD coin ERC20, and Binance, so BUSD ERC20, but it also has a card. And I'm not 100% sure what the card would be. I know that some people have crypto cards, like they have Bitcoin from BlockFi or whatever. Or I don't know if maybe like, comment down below, and this is super, super conspiracy theory here. Ecomi has, to my knowledge, not mentioned anything about their own card. They have their own secure Ecomi secure wallet where you can store Omi and you can store other stuff, and that's pretty cool. So it would make sense to think that, okay, well, how much, if they're already in the business of cards, why not make a card that you're able to store your crypto on? I think that, not just store your crypto on, but use it like a credit card, not just for your Omi, but to be able to spend it as well. And maybe the same way that people get rewards, every time you use this card, you get, 1% cash back. Maybe you can get MCP points. Maybe you can get, discounts. You accumulate enough points and you can get discounts in the store, something like that. Again, this is completely moon boyish. I don't know if they would ever do that. They have so much on their plate right now. But comment down below if you think that was a good idea. Anyway, that's it for me. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. Everyone say bye-bye to Dashi. Bye-bye, Dashi. I love you guys. Bye. Meow, 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 meow. Look at my shirt. Meow, meow, meow.